Okay, students, I am going to show you how to make a contact sheet. A contact sheet is basically a sampling of all of your photos that is on one sheet of paper. I would like for this assignment to have 12 photographs, so hopefully you have more than 12 to choose from and that you should have a decent amount of nice looking photos that you might want to go on your contact sheet. So to select all of them, you're going to hold your Command key down and click on individual photos. Now if you're watching over here, you'll notice that they're starting to stack up. When you get to 10 photos over here, it'll start counting for you. So it makes it a little easier to know how many are on there. So there's 10, say 11, and let's say 12. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is create this. You're going to create it in Photoshop. To get there, you're going to go up to the Tools menu, and you're going to go to Photoshop and then to Contact Sheet 2. Now it might take you a little while to pull up Photoshop. I had mine down in my dock already. So I've got 12 files selected, and there's a few things that you have to change. Number one, you're going to have to change your width and your height. Yours is probably set differently. I want it to be 8.5 by 11 because that's the standard size paper that we use in the printers. And if you had wished to print it off, then at least you're printing on the correct size paper. So width is 8.5, height is 11. Leave the resolution and everything else. Make sure this box, flatten all layers, is checked. If not, it just creates a much, much larger document than you need. Now, the thumbnails are the individual pictures. They're just any small pictures on a piece of paper are referred to as thumbnails. So you want to create columns and rows based on the number of photos that you have. Here you've got 3 columns and 4 rows because I've got 12 photos. You're going to have to change that. So you're going to change it to 3 columns, 4 rows. I don't know what's in there originally. But if I had 15, I would do 3 columns and 5 rows. You just set these numbers based on the number of photos that you have. Remember that columns go up and down, and rows go side to side. So if the paper is long like this, obviously there's more room for rows than there are columns, so the rows should always be larger than the columns. And that's it. As soon as you've got all of that in here, your columns and rows, and flattened and 8.5 by 11, you're going to click on OK. So just let it do its thing. It's going to take a little while. And you'll notice along the right-hand side here, there's going to be pictures that pop up, and your white sheet of paper there on your desktop might look a little weird to begin with, but just give it a minute, and it'll put all of the thumbnails on there for you. And there you go. There's your contact sheet. So you're going to need to save it. And this is what you're going to turn into me in Google Classroom. So to save, you're going to go to File, Save As, and this is very important. I want your format to be Photoshop PDF. It will probably originally default to Photoshop. Any projects that you do in here, you're going to save as a Photoshop document. Anything that you want to have printed, you're going to save as a JPEG. But for the contact sheets, they have to be a PDF. So you're going to name it up here. All you have to do is start typing. So you're going to name it Scavenger Hunt, and it should be a PDF. Okay, that's important. And then you're going to click Save. A couple different options. Uncheck Preserve Photoshop Editing Capabilities. You really don't need that. And just click Save. You don't need to worry about all the rest of this. Okay, so it's saved to my documents, and here it is. So I'm just going to take this and drag it into my Scavenger Hunt folder. And remember, in Bridge, all of those photos were in there, and there it is. Now I can see it in Bridge. Alrighty, so this is what gets turned inside of Google Classroom. So you can open up Google Classroom and go get your contact sheet and upload it. And that goes in part 2. And then I'll explain to you the rest of the lesson.